Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about how to figure out if your eBay locomotive purchase was a hidden gem or a bit of a dud. But before we get into that, let's talk about why I'm all about eBay. eBay is like a treasure trove, guys. First and foremost, it's all about saving some hard-earned cash. Buying brand new model locomotives, as you know, can be pretty expensive. But eBay offers a wallet-friendly alternative. It's a fantastic way to build up your collection without breaking the bank, especially when you're just starting out in the hobby like me. And let's not forget the thrill of finding an amazing deal. Scrolling through eBay listings is like going on a treasure hunt. Discovering a model at an unbelievable price is just so exciting. Honestly, I'm kind of addicted to it. I mean, who can resist a good bargain? But hey, let's not ignore the online shopping hiccups. eBay isn't always smooth sailing. There are some challenges to be aware of. The biggest one is dealing with misleading product descriptions. Sellers, they don't always give you the full story about the locomotive's condition or its history. Hidden issues can pop up, and the shipping process can sometimes be a bit of a roller coaster ride. That's why it's so important to have a solid system for inspecting your purchases after buying them. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck do I assess these eBay treasures? Well, my friend, I have a secret weapon. My trusty value framework. It's my own personal checklist. This value framework helps me to objectively evaluate every aspect of my purchases, and it's the key to separating the gems from the duds. It has a bunch of different critical factors and sub-factors, each with its own set of metrics. It covers everything from wear and tear to DCC compatibility, brand reputation to resale potential. It's all organised right here. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through each and every critical factor and sub-factor. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to use these factors to assess your eBay finds. Alright, let's start with DCC functionality. This one's super important if you have a DCC layout like I do. Look out for keywords like DCC ready or DCC fitted in eBay listings. This will help you easily spot those locomotives that are compatible with your digital control system. Trust me, DCC compatibility is a game changer when it comes to integrating your new models into your layout smoothly. Let me tell you a quick story. So I once bought a Bachmann locomotive without checking its DCC compatibility. It was going for a pretty good price and looked to be in great condition, just like the ones I kind of chipped before. But what I didn't realise is that this one was based on an old tooling design and had a split chassis. Let me tell you, converting that thing to DCC was no walk in the park, especially since it was the first split chassis loco I'd ever seen. It was a bit of a disappointment at the time because it couldn't be fully integrated into my DCC layout easily. But you know what? It was a lesson learned. So make sure you do your research and avoid making the same mistakes I did. Next up, we have model performance. This one's all about how the locomotive actually runs on the track. We're talking about running quality, loudness, smoothness at low speeds, and how it handles those pesky points. Assessing the model's performance is crucial. I remember this one time I bought a Dean's Good locomotive solely based on how it looked, and man, was that a mistake. Turns out it had a really poor running quality. It had definitely seen some use, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it running smoothly. It was a valuable lesson for sure. Moving on, we've got model condition. When it comes to assessing the condition, pay close attention to the photos provided by the seller. Zoom in and take a good look and search for any signs of wear or damage. Photos are your best friend in this situation. They give you a detailed view of the locomotive's condition and can save you from any unpleasant surprises. I actually got the biggest bargain of my life thanks to a photo. I purchased a 4p compound Loco earlier this year and it was advertised as DC. But when I zoomed in on the photo, I could see the box and read the actual model number. Turns out it was a newer model and was actually DCC ready. It was a win for me and I owe it all to that photo. Moving on to model detail. We're going to talk about how paying attention to the little things can make a big old difference in a locomotive's overall visual appeal. Trust me folks, it's all about those intricate details. Let me show you an example that really knocks it out of the park. The S15 class. This bad boy has got a detailed cab, top-notch detail on the body, and a cracking paint job. Don't underestimate the power of these details, people. Now, how about we chat about model characteristics? Let's get real here. Brand matters. I can't be the only one who's got a preference when it comes to the models I buy, right? Personally, I'm all about Bachmann locomotives over Hornby. They just tend to have better build quality and more attention to detail. Let's talk storage and packaging. Now, proper packaging not only makes it easier to store your locomotives, but it also adds a little something for all you collectors out there. It's worth taking good care of your investment. The condition of the packaging can be a deal breaker, especially if you want to keep your models in tip-top shape and maintain their value. Models in boxes on eBay sell for a pretty penny. Lastly, we have the value factor, where we dive into the financial side of things. It's all about understanding how the price you paid compares to other prices for the same model. This is really important, guys. You want to make sure you're getting a good bang for your buck. There we have it, a summary of the critical factors I consider when I'm evaluating an eBay buy. But remember, it's not just about the checklist. It's about what resonates with you personally. You might weigh these factors differently, and, that's perfectly fine. So in the next few minutes, let's explore all of the metrics I consider and their weightings under each of the critical factors. Alright folks, check out this chart right here. It's a visual representation of all the stuff we've just talked about. These percentages break down the specific things that matter most to me. DCC functionality is at the top, making up a solid 25% of my evaluation. It's like the brain of a car, controlling every little thing. For me, it's super important because my DCC layout compatibility is key. Next up, we got performance, which takes a good 20% of the pie. It's like the engine in the car. It's what keeps everything running smoothly. The way a locomotive performs on the track directly affects how much I enjoy this hobby. I mean, a locomotive with rubbish performance can really dampen the fun, no matter how good it looks. So, performance is a big deal for me. Right up there with performance is the condition of the locomotive, also with a solid 20% weighting. Ideally, I want a loco that arrives in condition that's working. Why? Well, because I'm itching to start enjoying it straight away. If it's in great shape, I can do just that. But if there are any issues that need fixing, it's a real pain and slows down the enjoyment. And who wants that, right? Now let's talk about the financial side of things. Value accounts for 15% of my assessment. I want to pay what it's worth or less. Why? Well, because
I want to grow my collection without breaking the bank. It's all about being smart with my budget. Model detail is also kind of important, but it's a bit less so, like 8% important. For me, I'd rather have a locomotive that runs smoothly than one that looks perfect. Don't get me wrong, aesthetics matter, but a locomotive that operates flawlessly is a higher priority in my book. I can appreciate a model that's a bit rough around the edges, as long as it does its job. Model characteristics have a 7% weight in my evaluation process. Old locos ain't a deal breaker for me at all. In fact, I prefer them because they are often heavier and built stronger. They might not have all the fancy modern features, but that's part of the appeal. So, older models, they don't scare me off at all. Last but not least, packaging only carries a 5% weighting for me. Storage, it's important, sure, but any old box can do the job if need be. I mean, a nice box is a bonus, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'd rather invest in the locomotive itself.
Now that we've covered the sub-factors, let me briefly describe how it works. Each factor I've mentioned is rated out of 5. Then, I multiply that score by its weightage and add them up. This total score is then divided by the cost, giving us a cost-benefit ratio. Now here's the deal. A low ratio is not good because it means you're not getting your money's worth. On the other hand, a high ratio is a winner. Ideally, you want the ratio to be greater than 1, which means the value of your purchase exceeds its cost. But don't worry, we'll explore this ratio in our next episode, where I'll demonstrate how it works. Before we finish up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had some really memorable eBay buys? Whether they were amazing finds or total disasters? Share your stories, successes and failures in the comments below. Your experiences aren't just for you, they're lessons for all of us. Now, let's give you a sneak peek into our next episode. We'll put this value framework to the test by evaluating an actual eBay locomotive. Specifically, we'll take a look at my latest purchase, an A4 Mallard. It's going to be a practical application that you won't want to miss. So stay tuned for that. Finally, I want to express my genuine thanks. Thank you for being a part of our model railway community. Your support keeps these videos coming and motivates me to create more content. Until next time, keep those trains on the tracks.